whenever I am training women, I like to make sure that they know about this one subject, because when I learned about it, it changed so much for me. So I'm talking about cyclical living. I'm talking about understanding your cycle and your hormones and running your business, especially your business, but also other projects, your social life, and with an understanding of what's happening in your cycle. So first, let me say this. Men cycle hormonally on a 24-hour basis. So every 24 hours, they run through their hormonal cycle. Women, our hormones are on a 28-day cycle. We know that, right? The world, though, that we live in, especially the world of business, is set up on a 24-hour schedule. Like, we are set up to do the same thing every day, to be the same person the next day as we were the day before, to get through that cycle and to show up, okay, now it's time for the next thing, right? The problem is we are not the same person from one day to the next, from 1 week to the next. We change with our hormones. And that's the beauty of women. That's the beauty of what we have to offer. But understanding that so that you can work with your cycle is so powerful. So I learned a lot about this from a book called Do Less from Kate Northrup. Fantastic book. And she talks about, so let me just give you a really quick overview. When I learned this, I was able to give myself some grace for not being able to be on all the time. So this is what I mean by that. Right now, I am filled with energy. I'm so excited. I'm recording these videos back to back. I have all these thoughts. I'm just humming. I'm feeling fantastic. Now, in a week or so, I'm gonna be feeling really slow and really low and like I don't have any energy, and I'm gonna be thinking, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get it together? Snap out of it, Amy. You've got work to do. Let's go. Keep going. This is how I've kind of lived my life. Like, man, what is wrong with me? I've got to keep going. I've got to get back to that energy that I had before. And then guess what? Just wait around a week or so and I'm back to, oh, I feel good again. Okay, let's go. You're not crazy. You just have hormones. You're a female and you are affected differently, and what your capacity is from week to week changes within where you are on your 28-day cycle. So I'm not an expert, but I want to share some of these ideas with you so that then if you're interested in this, you can go do your own deep dive and learn some more about it. So first, let's talk about our cycles. So if you're predictable, if you're in your cycle, then you're going to be able to use a 28-day cycle, your 28-day cycle, to kind of predict your cycles. If you're like me, so I'm moving into a menopause phase, which means I'm not bleeding regularly. And so it's hard for me to track, like, where am I in the cycle? And in that case, I use the moon, and I use the cycle of the moon, which also is on a 28-day cycle and also mirrors what's happening within our body. It is so beautiful. I love the beauty of this. So first, we're gonna start with ovulation and the full moon. So when you are ovulating and when there's a full moon, this is when you have this beautiful energy. You can be very productive. You're showing up. You're going to be visible. And this is a time to really be connected and social. And you're going to feel that. You're going to have that kind of energy that's happening in the full moon. If you think about your body when you're ovulating, that's your body's like, hey, give me a baby. I'm ready. Like, you're in that cycle to be able to get pregnant, to have a baby. And so your energy is such that it's in that level. So the next one is the waning moon. Okay, so this is the waning moon, and it's between ovulating and when you bleed. So it's after you ovulate, you go into this, and this is when you want to start finishing up projects. You want to be completing what you have been doing, wrapping things up in this waning phase. And then you get into the new moon. This is when there's no moon. The new moon is typically, it's also when you bleed, when your menstrual cycle starts. So I'm not saying that you will bleed on a new moon. I'm saying for me, I'm like, okay, when is the new moon coming? That's when I'm going to be in that energy. And for you, you're looking for, okay, I'm starting to bleed. I'm starting my menstrual cycle, the cycle starting over again. So you start there. And this is a time for you to rest, to be quiet, to reflect on what you've done, and to kind of like just have that down energy. And this is where I say, when you get into this down energy and you're like, I'm feeling kind of just low energy. You're not feeling the same energy here as you were when you were ovulating and during the full moon. It's okay. That's good. It's really good if you prepare for it. If you work to this cycle, you can be accomplishing the most amazing things, because then the book is called Do Less, because if you do the right things at the right time, you can be so much more efficient instead of beating yourself up because you're not as productive as you think you should be in the time that you should be resting and reflecting. So then you come out of that, and that's when you come into the waxing moon. So the moon is growing into that full moon. That's your follicular, did I say that right? I don't know. Time. And this is when you're going to plan. You're going to start doing some planning. You're going to initiate what you're going to do. You're going to come up with ideas. It's this kind of looking forward energy. So you come out of the bleed into this like, okay, what am I going to do? You start to kind of, you're looking forward, and then you move right back into that full moon again, where you're like, okay, you're getting stuff done that you've planned, that you've set up, and then into, okay, I'm going to start putting things together, tidying things up, into a little bit of a rest and reflect. This cycle, this 28-day cycle, it is freaking amazing. And the best thing that it has done for me is it has allowed me to give myself grace when I'm going through these times, to be like, oh, it's okay. It's gonna end, and I'm gonna come back, and I know that I'm gonna hit that planning, full moon, beautiful energy again, and I'm gonna be able to get a lot done. I'm gonna be able to be doing stuff like this, so I don't feel bad in that time when I'm tidying things up, when I'm kind of reflecting on what I've done, what I changed, what am I proud of, and those kind of things, and then moving in. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it's as helpful for you as it was for me, because understanding and not being so frustrated at myself for not being able to be on a 24-hour cycle and not being able to wake up every day just like with the same energy every day. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? I can't even imagine. Okay, hope it was helpful.